In sales, there's gonna be moments where you're just in the flow state, where you're saying everything right, you're doing all the right things, you're building rapport with the customer, and everything just goes smoothly, perfectly, and you close the deal, right? And in my opinion, this is one of the best experiences you can have as a salesperson because you're just kind of flowing and doing everything right. Now, some days are like that. Other days, it might feel like everything's going wrong, you're not saying the right things, customer doesn't like you, they hang up on you, and everything just goes down the drain, right? I've been there, it sucks. So the question is, what exactly is the difference between one day, which is, going really well, you close the deal, and another day where you flat out just get rejected? Now, the interesting part is that most people in sales and business development, they may learn how to sell, but they may not think about the psychology triggers that directly influence whether or not they're going to be successful in sales. So in this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 keys to the psychology of selling. And you wanna make sure you watch this video until the end because these are gonna be some of the most powerful techniques and strategies you can use on a psychological level to start turning prospects into paid customers. And if you don't know these strategies rooted in psychology, well, you might actually waste a lot of time and money going after clients and not really understanding why is it that they actually buy. What's going on, everybody? My name is Patrick Dang. Welcome to my channel where we're gonna talk all things sales. So if you're ready for this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first key we're gonna talk about when it comes to the psychology of selling is that people can feel your intention. Now, in sales or business development, the moment you are meeting someone for the first time, or maybe you're talking to them on the phone, they're actually going to make a split-second decision, usually it's within the first 5 seconds, on whether or not they trust you and like you and actually want to do business with you, right? And this is mostly from your tonality of how you sound and how you speak, and your physical presence in how you look, how you dress, your posture, right? People do make decisions and they judge other people based on the first 5 seconds of seeing somebody. And based on your tonality and physical presence, people are going to subconsciously judge you on whether or not they want to work with you. So, for example, if you look like a salesman and you sound like a typical salesman, like the snake oil type of salesman, well, people are not gonna trust you right off the bat. It doesn't even matter what your product or service is. They just don't feel like they trust you just based on how you look and based on how you sound. So instead of being like everybody else and being a typical salesperson, I would actually recommend being a little more different and being more yourself. And also what actually helps is coming in with the right intentions, right? If your intention is that you don't really care about the customer success and you just wanna sell them, people can actually feel it. They can feel it and hear it in your tonality and your physical presence. But if you come from an intention of helping, people can also feel the authenticity of that as well. So remember, people can feel your intention, so you wanna make sure your intention is in the right place. Don't just try to sell somebody, actually try to help. Next strategy of the psychology of selling is let people feel like they are in control. Now, in any type of sales situation, a lot of times, let's say someone who is more of an amateur or maybe they don't have that much sales training, they will want to keep talking and they keep wanting to pitch. And this is a problem because when someone is pitching, well, the prospect doesn't like it, right? They don't feel like they're in control. They feel like they wanna leave, but they don't wanna be rude, and so they feel like they're stuck. And if they feel like they're stuck and they don't wanna listen to what you have anyways, they're not gonna buy. So instead, you wanna change the situation and make the prospect feel like they are in control. And how you do this is you set the right expectations and you basically ask permission, or you ask these questions that frame the conversation and gives the other person the feeling that they are in control, but in reality, the salesperson is always in control. For example, let's say in the beginning of a meeting, I wanna set the right expectations with my potential customer. I could say something like, hey Sally, I just wanna take 10 minutes to learn a little bit more about your business and see if it makes sense to work together. And by the end of the conversation, if, hey, there is a fit to work together, great, we'll move on to the next step. But if not, I want you to let me know and you can say no at any time. Is that okay with you? So when I ask this question and I set those expectations, Sally, on the other hand, you're gonna think like, oh, that's pretty nice of Patrick to consider my feelings. And he also gave me a way out if I decide that, hey, this is not a fit for me. So the prospect feels like they are in control. But in reality, the salesperson is in control because they're the ones that frame the entire conversation. And if the person is not interested, why would the salesperson even waste their time trying to convince a customer who's not gonna buy anyways? So that's why you wanna set the right expectations, ask the right questions, and let the prospect feel like they are in control. Next tip, we kind of covered this a little bit, but I wanna go a little more deeper, and that is focus on helping, not selling. So during your sales meeting as a salesperson, don't just pretend to listen to your prospect, actually care about them and what they want and how you can solve their problems, right? A lot of salespeople, they just kind of ask 1 or 2 questions and they wait for an opportunity to just pitch their product or service, right? For example, let's say amateur salesperson's in a meeting and the prospect says, yeah, you know, we're not really running any Google ads yet. And then an amateur salesperson, they would think, oh, they're not running Google ads, now's my time to shine. I'm gonna pitch all our services, right? And nobody likes that. Instead, you wanna take a step back and think, okay, well, what kind of experience do I wanna create for this prospect? How do I make them understand that I'm just trying to help them? How do I understand their pains? And then how do I solve their problems, right? You are a problem solver as a salesperson. You're not a pitch and dog and pony show. You are a problem solver. So instead of just pitching and playing the numbers game and hoping that people buy, reverse the situation and say, hey, how do I understand these people and how can I actually help? And when you come from a place of help, you automatically just differentiate yourself from all the other salespeople. And because you're so different, people are going to perceive you as what? Better. So spend some time to really think, how can you actually help instead of just sell? And if you really do a good job in helping somebody, they're much more likely to buy. Next tip when it comes to the psychology of selling is to dive deep into the prospect's pain. I always say this in my other videos and I'll say it again. No pain, no sale. You have to uncover what problem somebody has in order to pitch your product or service as the solution to that pain. If somebody doesn't have a problem, there's really no reason for them to want to buy, right? There has to be some type of motivation. Like, it's like when you're sick, you want to go to the doctor. You're not gonna go to the doctor if you're not sick. So in sales, you know, you're only gonna buy something if you have a problem. If there's no problem, there is no sale, right? So if you're selling a software, if the software doesn't solve any problems that the prospect doesn't have right now, well, why would they waste money buying that software? It doesn't make any sense. But they have a very clear problem and you just happen to be able to solve that problem for a reasonable price, well, that is easier to sell. So ask these questions to your prospect. What is it that they're trying to achieve? What are the challenges that are stopping them from achieving their goals? What have they tried so far to solve these problems? Why hasn't it worked? How long has this been a problem? And my favorite, how does that make them feel, right? And a lot of times, you know, they feel frustrated, angry, they feel like they're being held back. They feel like their potential is limited. And so it's your job to show like, hey, I understand you, man. I understand that you want to get to this place, but there's all these problems. What if I can help you remove those problems and help you get to where you already want to go? Does that sound interesting to you? And obviously it's gonna be interesting because that's their dreams and aspirations. So if you show you understand their problems and you can actually help them achieve their goals, easy sale. Next tip we have for you is you need to listen. So when you're asking these questions and you are understanding the prospect's pain, you really have to listen to what these pains are so that you can ask better questions throughout the sales conversation. Now, when it comes to listening, a trick is that when you're listening to the prospect's pain, you want to make the prospect feel like you are listening. So if you're listening, but it doesn't show on your face and the prospect feels like you're not listening, even though you understand everything they're saying and you're really intently listening, if they don't feel you're doing that, then it's good as you're not listening at all, right? Because people need to feel you are listening and they feel a better connection with you, they build more rapport, and they're more likely to buy and trust you. So how you show people that you are actually willing to listen or you are actually listening is you say things like, yeah, I see, tell me more. Oh, okay, interesting. Right, so these are kind of like mini affirmations or mini like ways to show that, hey, I'm listening, I hear what you're saying. Another technique you can use is if you just repeat what the prospect is saying. So if the prospect is saying something like, you know, we're trying to do marketing, but then we have no idea how to do Facebook ads, and you could say, oh, I totally understand your problem. I get that, you know, doing Facebook ads is very challenging. You know, it's really hard to know what's going on if you have no experience, right? If you kind of just summarize and repeat what someone said, they're automatically thinking, this guy totally gets me because he's just repeated what I said and he understands my situation, he understands my problem. Obviously, they're not really thinking that at a conscious level, it's all subconscious, but when you repeat back what people say, people feel like you are listening. Because it's not enough just to listen, you gotta show the other person that you care. Now, the next tip of the psychology of selling is to only pitch your offer after you understand the prospect's pain. So a lot of people, they make the mistake of pitching way too early, right? So, you know, if you're an amateur, you probably pitch your product or service right in the beginning of the conversation, and then the prospect likes it like 1% of the time, maybe they'll buy it, and then 99% of the time they're not gonna buy, right? So instead what you wanna do is before you pitch, you ask these questions that I've been talking about and you understand the prospect's pain. Only when you really understand their pains and really what their aspirations are and what roadblocks they have and how you can solve that problem, then you are equipped to pitch your offer, whether it's a product or a service, right? And the reason why you wanna earn the permission to pitch is because you wanna make sure you qualify the prospect to see whether or not they are actually a good fit to buy your product and service. If they're not a good fit, what's the point of pitching them? They're not gonna buy it anyways. So that's why you ask these questions, understand the pains, and you think to yourself, can I actually help this person? If the answer is a big yes, then you pitch your product and service, and you can actually do it with authenticity because you know for sure that you can make their lives better by selling them your products and services. But if you don't know this information and you pitch, it's a lot less authentic because how do you even know they should buy, right? So that's why you gotta ask the questions, understand the pain, and then you earn the right to pitch. Now the next step we have for you is don't focus on the sale. Instead, you want to look for a natural fit. And so in my sales meeting, right, what I always do is say, look, I'm not really trying to sell anything to you. I'm just trying to see if it's a fit for us to work together. If there's a fit, great. If not, totally fine. Right? So what happens here is that people understand that I'm not forcing a sale. I'm not trying to sell at all costs. I'm just trying to see whether or not, it's a fit to work together. Key phrasing right there, fit to work together. Now, if it's not a fit, then it's not gonna work anyways, right? But if they have a problem that I can solve, that's a good fit, and it makes sense for me to go all out when it comes to sales only after I see that fit. So throughout your entire sales meeting, from the beginning to the end, you're always looking to see and asking that question, are we a good fit to work together? Because if not, I don't wanna waste my time, I don't wanna waste your time, so let's just move on. But if there is a fit, then it's your obligation to get your product and service in the hands of your customers because you really know that if they buy it, then their life is going to be totally better. And that comes from a very authentic place. But if you don't find fit, then it's not really genuine, it's not really real, it just feels like you're trying to force a product down someone's throat. So always look for the fit first and then you sell. And so with that said, those are gonna be the 7 keys to the psychology of selling. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications if you wanna see more videos like this. And let me know in the comments what's the #1 thing that you learned in this video, because I'm happy to hear, what kind of value you guys are getting here. And so if you wanna check out more videos on psychology of selling, closing deals, and things like that, make sure to check out my other videos. So with that said, my name is Patrick Dang, and I will see you guys in the next one.